We are. Okay. All right. Let's say a prayer. I'm gonna place my hands on my heart. Take that deep breath of love and gratitude. So grateful for this opportunity to come together to be the two or more who are gathered in the name and the nature of love. Grateful for our willingness to shine a light on anything that we are holding in our mind that is blocking to love the love or seeming to block the love. We know that it truly is nothing, and we are allowing it to fall away, to dissolve and resolve back to the nothingness from which it came. We're grateful for our mighty companions, our earthly and heavenly helpers. We ask that they join us now, blessing us and guiding us and leading us and helping us to keep our hearts and minds fully open. We're grateful for them to bless the technology that we get to use to come together. And we're grateful to share those blessings that we receive and the love that we are with Mother Earth and all of her beings, because we are one. In grace and gratitude, we let it be. And so it is. Amen. So you'll probably hear some noise in the background because of the wind. The cat's, my younger cat anyways, is a little riled up. So he's running around like a crazy animal, making all kinds of racket and being generally destructive. But it's fun. It's fun to watch him. So we are in Course in Miracles Complete and Annotated Edition by Circle of Atonement and Robert Perry, and we are in chapter 1, Miracles of Principles. We're reading the first 15 miracles of principles, or we're discussing them today. And I would like to start with miracle principle number 6. Miracles are everyone's right, but purification is necessary first. That's on page 8 in my book. And the additional information at the bottom, number 5. The purification necessary is not of the body or soul, but of our thoughts. As we see in this line from lesson 151 of the workbook, your ministry, which consists of giving miracles, begins as all your thoughts are purified. And it's a letting go of what we think and what we believe about ourselves and the world and the past and the future. It is that, come unto your God with wholly empty hands concept. And letting go of all of the thoughts and beliefs that I have and opinions and judgments about what has happened before this moment, like, the things that happened in my childhood, any challenges that I have walked through. The more I am allowing myself to let go of the meanings that I made of them, the easier it is for me to see that everything is and was a blessing, because it brought me to where I am today. That does not mean that it was pleasant, but it does mean that I give up the hope that it could have been any different, or that it should have been any different. So that's where I'm starting us off today. Go ahead, Grace.
Oh, thanks, Linda. Yeah, that one really hit home for me, because, talk a lot about miracles, but I'm going to bring it home to me that while I am choosing ego thoughts over spiritual thoughts during my day, then I will not have access to any miracles. And I even had a teacher dump me once after I'd been with her for about 3 years. And of course, I knew it all, as you said, the intellectualizing of it. But she said to me, you know, I can't help you anymore, because while you're choosing ego thoughts over thoughts of who you really are, of God, and you're giving to that ego constantly, there's, you know, everything I can teach you, I can't help you anymore. But you've got, if you continue to choose ego thoughts, then you won't have access to any of the blessings. I was shocked. I was like, but she's dumping me, a spiritual teacher. But in fact, that's the only time I've ever done anything, is when somebody's kicked me in the butt. And that really made me start to watch my thoughts. But on a day-to-day basis, it is challenging, because those ego thoughts that come in and come through all the time, I have to catch every one of them, because each time I identify with one of them, the guilt that comes with that I'm thinking I'm separate from God. And so I have to play out all these different roles with different people that continue the illusion that I'm separate. So when I have a judgmental thought, that is feeding into me being separate, which brings on all the guilt, which hits me in the body. And so this has been, I've been reading the miracles thinking, well, yeah, but if I want to access these miracles, the stuff I need to do and the stuff I have to stop doing. And one of the things that I'm in the process of doing is dropping a relationship that's a very special relationship, that's not based on acceptance, complete acceptance and love. There's resentment in it, there's guilt in it, there's a bit of anger in it, you know, because there's been sacrifice. All these different things keep alive that separate grace. And so this really hit home to me. I suddenly realized, yeah, these miracles are all great, you know, but are they available to me while I'm separate to you? So it's been a tough week for me. And I really appreciate it when you guys talk about stuff that's happening to you, because it helps me to understand how to apply what we're reading in this book. So thanks, Linda, and thanks, beautiful family. Yeah. I know I'm always pouring my heart out here, but I know I have to.
Absolutely.
It's part of my purification. I have to bring what I'm doing to the light and say, this is what I've been doing, and I'm handing it over to the Holy Spirit.
Absolutely, Grace. Yeah, I'm holding your tender heart right now. I wish I could hug you. But it is about the purification, but letting go of any shaming, blaming of yourself. You're not a bad person because you hold those thoughts. And it's one of the number one things that's a big rock in my contract this year is the concept of radical responsibility. And what it really means for me is that I am willing to surrender any thoughts of looking for fault or answers outside of myself.
Yeah. Yes.
And it's simple, but that doesn't mean that it's easy.
It's tricky. You're putting yourself on the line.
Yes. Yes.
And you know, and go ahead, Linda.
I was just going to say, it's the way that we have been operating in the world is based on who we were in the past and how we operated as less mature mental, emotional, and spiritual beings. So the ways that we are holding on to that specialness of being separate is what kept us safe in those times when we were not mature enough to realize that that's what we were doing. So now we can love tenderly and gently and sweetly that part of us that has kept us separate as being safe,
Yeah.
and let that go, and know that as we are able to expand and open our hearts and our minds, that we will expand more into love, and we won't need to be kept safe anymore.
Yes, yes. There's definitely safety in that special relationship with somebody who loves us, you know.
Yes.
But if it's a special love that's based on me acting a certain way, the other person fulfilling their acting a certain way, but then when the rubber hits the road, then what happens?
Yeah.
It might not work then. Well, then that special relationship's really not any security at all for me, at all. I'm again, whoops, I'm out there on my own again, and the automatic reaction is, sell myself down the river, be somebody I'm not, just to keep the status quo.
Yeah.
And sell myself. Go ahead, Linda.
Know, Grace, that special relationship can become a holy relationship in any moment.
Yeah, I was thinking that as well, but while it doesn't look like that, I have to be really careful. It does not look like that. And so, to stick with what I want, which is holy relationships with people where I can be myself.
Yes.
Say my truth. Be who I need to be for me, so that I don't start bringing on all this guilt that I'm acting out a role. Yes. I don't want to be doing that anymore. I have a role with my daughters. I have a role with my love. I have a role with friends, and I have a role with my brothers. I'm noticing it all, and I'm thinking, no, I'm not going to be playing those roles anymore. I'm going to be me, and let's see what happens. And so far, everything's crumbling down on my head.
Oh yeah. Oh my God. Yeah. It shakes things up. It shakes things up so intensely sometimes that it feels like you're just gonna be torn to pieces and not exist anymore.
Which is what the ego wants.
Exactly. But it is actually the most freeing thing that you can do. Anything that falls away is something that is not for your highest good, is something that is not necessary in your life anymore. Even though it feels painful, it can feel very painful.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm just holding that for you, that all of the relationships that you feel are special at the moment, if they are for your highest and best good and the good of all, that they are holy relationships, that shift is happening.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah. Thanks, Linda.
You're welcome, sweetie. And Linda K, what I said was radical responsibility is my contract for this year. And the thought is, I surrender thoughts of looking for fault or answers outside of myself. Mary Lee, and then Hamira.
Oh, mine is basically a question. Although I have about 20 questions, I'll try to, where I first felt a little lost is, as Grace was saying about ego thoughts versus, okay, now how do I apply that, for instance, to my day? I have my plans to go to town, and then I'm going to do this, and then I'm going to do that. So I'm trying to, all those, I guess I'm not separating that those are what are ego thoughts. Yes, they're all things that I need to do today in town, or I'll not have groceries, or I'll not get the car fixed, or so I'm not understanding it on a day-to-day basis. And along with what Linda Kay commented there also, I never really understood how special relationships convert to holy relationships. I realize that that's probably part of that too. I get it as far as if someone, let's say at the car garage, says something, and rather than be unkind to them or say something sharply that later I think, oh, maybe I should apologize, but try to be kind. I get kindness. I don't get purification versus doing what I need to be doing today. As far as I'm in the physical world, there's not a lot I wish, or I don't wish to change that. I mean, I couldn't anyway unless I killed myself, right? So I mean, I just have questions on this purification.
Mary Lee, I feel, my understanding is it is how I feel about the thoughts, and if I'm attached to them. Like if I'm attached to how something unfolds or when it unfolds or if it unfolds, it can be an ego thought. But if it's something that is, it feels like you're just guided to do it, let's just do it. You know, I see that I need to get groceries, let's just go to the grocery store and get the groceries. I would not say necessarily that that's an ego thought. The ego thought might be exactly how I have to show up when I go to get the groceries, you know, what's going to happen between me and the clerk or me and the produce guy or whatever. You know, so those can be ego thoughts if you have attachments to them, is my understanding. But they don't necessarily have to be ego thoughts that, you know, I need some groceries, I'm going to go to the grocery store. It's just, you know, it's just a matter of how you're operating through your day. And, you know, how do you feel about going to the grocery store? You know you have to do it, so it's just a matter of fact, and you're just going to go, and you're going to be as delightful as you would like to be, and come home and put your groceries away.
Yeah, and can I add on to that, Linda? Yeah, I think it's definitely about that. And at this point for me, it's starting the morning off with Holy Spirit, how do I want my day to be? And as I go through the day, I only have to go to the store and the gas station. I don't go to work. So I know I've got to get groceries. So I just go, okay, you know, should I do that now? Is this the best time? Because I have noticed that if I don't consult with Holy Spirit, I can go to the store and they don't have what I want. But when I do say, Holy Spirit, should I do the gas station now? And sometimes there's somebody that I need to see and talk to and maybe help. And I need to meet him, and that's guided by Holy Spirit. And I have days where I go, why on earth should I take that route today that's in my head to go to the gas station? And then I see the guy who needs help. And for me recently, it was this guy who had run out of battery in his wheelchair, and he was just stuck on the side of the road. And he also didn't have shoes, he didn't have food. And I thought, that's him. And I went to talk to him, and he needed help, and somebody else came along and we all helped him. So that's the difference in my day when I hand it over to Holy Spirit and don't just charge ahead and go to the grocery store or the gas station. It's like, okay, I wait a few minutes till I get the sense of where should I go. Sorry to be so long-winded, guys.
Nope. Perfect, Grace. Yeah, and I feel like the thing with the holy relationships, that can look different. Every single holy relationship can look different. When I prayed to have a holy relationship with my father, it was shortly after that he passed away. And I do have to say that I have as strong or stronger relationship with him now than I did when he was here in the physical form. My holy relationship with a friend that I was having challenges with has evolved into where we're not friends anymore, but neither one of us holds any animosity towards each other. And when I think about her, I am blessing her and sending her love and, you know, holding the highest and best in my heart for her. And then like with my husband, praying for a holy relationship, because I feel like when we met and when we got married, I was looking for somebody to like, I was looking for that Prince Charming that was going to come up on the white horse and save me from everything that was miserable in my life. And I don't have those feelings anymore. What I know is he's one of my greatest teachers. And you know, the triggers that I feel or the ways that I get upset with what he's doing or not doing or what he's saying or not saying, I know that those are things for me to work on and I appreciate them. So our relationship definitely has shifted from one of like romantic Prince Charming and whatever, you know, to something more mature. So yeah, holy relationships all look different at different times. Any follow-up questions, Mary Lee? Or thoughts?
Oh, no, I'll just listen to
Okay.
everything.
All right,
Thank
thank you. Humira, then Nancy Gail, and then Carla.
Good morning. Thank you, Linda. Happy New Year, everybody.
New Year.
Hi, Grace. I see your hand waving, sweetheart. I have a question on, I know we just talked about it extensively, about the word purification. And I don't know, something about that word scares me because I always think, well, I have to have like completely pure thoughts. But I think you already explained it, that it's not so much about the thoughts that have to be perfect, but rather my belief in the thoughts, my willingness to give them up, my willingness to say, Holy Spirit, will you like help me see this differently? Is that correct?
Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. And how you hold them. I mean, you can hold them as you can hold your thoughts as being horrible, bad, meaning that you're a stupid person or an awful person, or you can hold those thoughts as you know, I was a less mature person at that time. I was using these thoughts in order to keep me safe at a time when I was less mature physically, mentally, emotionally, spiritually, whatever. And that is also a purification. It doesn't mean that you never have the thoughts. They were there at one point. It just
Well,
means you're not
even
judging
now,
them.
sometimes, not just
Yes.
at one point. And so, you know, I know in the course it talks about how we are in charge of our thoughts. Our thoughts aren't in charge of us, basically. But honestly, there are times still that it feels like that thoughts just sort of fly in. Like I'm not necessarily like thinking about that. And all of a sudden I'll wake up and then a thought comes in, you know? And if I'm going to be very kind of honest, like sometimes they're not very nice thoughts about my
Right.
ex recently. And so, and then in that moment, like I will say, Holy Spirit, you know, I above all else, I want to see this differently. You know, I send a blessing, whatnot. But the thought is there.
Yeah.
Now, what I have started seeing is a pattern of when I'm not feeling very good about myself, those kind of thoughts come in more often. And there's a clear like cause and effect. Oh, I'm not feeling the best about myself, or I'm not really like doing what I need to be doing right now. And because I'm not feeling good, it's a projection kind of way of like not really looking at myself. But when I like looked at the word, define the word purification in the dictionary, it says the act or process of making something pure and free of any contaminating, debasing, or foreign elements. And I guess all of the ego thinking is all foreign elements because it's not to our true nature. But I really also liked what you said, because it reminds me of what Carla always says, is to love the ego so that it becomes submissive to the higher self versus like attacking myself because I've had these egoic thoughts. So just wanted to like talk about that word purification, because there was a time where it just blocked me because I'm
Yeah.
like, I'm never going to have always pure thoughts, you know? So yeah. Okay. Thank you very much.
Yeah, you're welcome, Hamira. And I can totally relate to that because, you know, in my past, my belief in the word purification was like hellfire and brimstone, you know?
Yes. Yes.
And it's not that anymore. It is that much gentler, loving manner of quieting those thoughts and knowing that, you know, if there are times in your life where you're not feeling physically well, you haven't been getting enough sleep, you know, you haven't been eating as well as you could have or should have, you're not getting enough physical activity in whatever ways you are not, and for whatever reason taking care of your physical, mental, emotional being, that yes, those thoughts are going to pop in more, and we can learn to hold them with more levity and be that happy learner that Jesus talks about in A Course in Miracles, even when those thoughts are present.
Great. Thank you so much.
Yeah, you're welcome, sweetie. Thank you. Nancy Gal.
When you were talking a little bit ago, I had this image. I don't know. I'm just throwing it out. That we were talking about specialness. And so I was listening and what I was hearing was, and the image just came to me. It was like my hand or something. And I had, say I have a burn or a cut or something on my hand. And I cover it with a bandage to protect it. And then when it heals underneath, and then you have to take the bandage off, because if you don't, it's going to start whatever. Whatever happens. It's healing, and then, but at some point you remove the bandage, but you don't leave the bandage on forever, because then it just goes back the other way. But that's the image I had, and as I'm thinking, well, that's what specialness is. And specialness is, you keep the bandage on to protect the the wounded ego or whatever you want. And that's so you keep thinking, you keep those thoughts, that's what you keep thinking. And at some point, so that's on the pure, but you have to take the bandage off. You have to take, that's what the specialness is. That's the specialness, is the bandage. At some point, it's like, whatever. And I'm throwing it out. You guys use it any way you want. And I was just thinking, that's the purification is. That's what the purification is.
Absolutely.
You're just removing that special. It's to protect the ego, that thought system, ego, whatever. I'm throwing that out. You guys use it any way you want. Use it however it makes sense to you. And if you come up with something really good, let me know.
Yeah, Nancy Gale, what you made me think of, and that's a perfect analogy, was how that specialness can be used at times when you need to use them. I know you probably used your specialness when you were first beginning your health crisis journey. I know that I was using my specialness after my father passed away because I did not have the capacity or the desire to look at what was actually happening and how I was feeling about my father's passing out of this lifetime. And I knew I had to take care of my mom. You know, she had just come out of that huge quadruple bypass and heart valve surgery. And I had to make sure I got her to doctor's appointments and her therapy appointments. And, you know, I had to take care of her because there was nobody there to take care of her anymore because my dad had passed away. So I was in that I'm separate special mode where I was not feeling any of my feelings. I was not present to myself, and I was definitely separate. So there are moments I feel when that separateness kicks in as a mode of protection for a purpose. And then but there was a point, like my dad passed away in May, the beginning of May. There was a point like in August or September where I was feeling very sad. And I had the thought, why are you feeling sad right now? Because at that point, I had already had so many like connections with my dad after his passing. What is this sadness about? Is it really about the fact that your father is gone from this world? And it wasn't. It was my egoic attempt to hang on to that specialness. So, you know, yeah, I loved the Band-Aid. I was ready to rip off the Band-Aid.
I knew it was for somebody, or somebody could. I'm gonna just say one more thing. Remember yesterday or last night, whatever.
In the New
Oh,
Year
the
reboot.
days are just like one long day. I can't remember which part of it I'm in. Seriously, it's like I can't remember what day is this. Anyway, the thing where I read that I was watching that program that it was one of those war ones that I watched, Tour of Duty or something, and I only watch special things that they all mostly have to do with relationships, all the stuff that I never had, so I learned it, whatever. But anyways, there was a journalist, a lady, a female journalist over where's that? Oh, this was Vietnam, right? Yeah, this was Vietnam. Um, and she she ended up getting killed when she was dressed to go to dinner and all this stuff, and she was walking down the main in the village, and she stepped down on one of those mines, and so anyway, but the thing that the thing and then the guy that took the love interest and everything, they had to go on and do their duty, fulfill and do what they were supposed to be doing. They couldn't take time out to grieve and all that right that moment. And so at the end, it's like but she had written a piece that they found her journal in this piece that they were reading. um was a piece that she had written, and the last thing she wrote was um wait, was it, the title of it was "No Time for Tears," and it says soldiers do their duty, fight, etc., and save their tears for after the war.
Yes.
And my take on that was, I wonder if that's a big part of PTSD and other mental disorder, emotional disorders, because we store, like me, I couldn't express it. I wasn't allowed to, blah, 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 blah. And it's like, so it stays in the body. And at some point, and that's what's been happening this last month. And it's such a relief.
Yes.
So, and my specialness thing was I was a victim all my life. And it's such a relief to just like, oh, it's a thought. I can change that.
Yes.
I decided that. I have the power. I can change it. I don't have to. What it's like, I always said that all of this stuff I had to stay. I'm short, right? And I used to say because I had this weight, like 2,000 pounds on me that I couldn't grow. So anyway, I'm done.
I can relate, Nancy Gail, to all of that. Thank you. Carla, and then Paula.
Okay, you know, I'm going to tell you something that just happened, but before I wanted to speak about the introduction page, but I want to now express and share an experience that's from miracle number 5. Miracles are natural. When they do not occur, something has gone wrong. And so I'll try to explain what happened. So I put my hand up, right? And I looked down and I looked up and the hand was down again. And so I put it up again and I looked down and I looked up and there it was. Again, it was down. And then the third time, things comes in threes for me very often. And I did it again. I put my hand up and again it was down. I moved my cursor. I thought maybe it was accidentally putting it down. And now I know what was happening. Miracles are happening. Everybody shared because my hand was down. I was like the next 2 people, wherever. Something that every single person shared, I needed to hear. I got something out of it. And so we don't realize miracles are happening all the time. And sometimes I could have got upset. I always put my hand down and I could have upset, but instead I realized that, oh, that was just a miracle happening. And it's not a bad thing. And we think a lot of things are bad because I wanted to talk next or whatever. And I was willing to let go of that wanting, I guess, but I think it's now the time to go to the introduction page. So that, and it's actually, I want to explain something too. I went through this whole book, every single page, and because I wanted to mark the footnotes because I couldn't see them all the time. So I went through every single page and marked the whole, and it was a very, did I do it? Did I find the footnotes? It was about me letting go of wanting to do it fast or wanting to do it whatever, and just allow myself. If it took me a minute, and most times, the more I practice letting go of wanting to finish the course by the whole book by this meeting, more miracles happen. It's so amazing as we let go of what we think is true. Truth is shown to us. I don't know, so amazing. So what I was going to show from the instruction page, I finally get to, is this course is not aimed at teaching the meaning of love, for that is beyond what can be taught. And I'll read what the footnote said, that my thinking was, we are love. How can love be taught what love is? Really? But I'll read the footnote. In the course's teaching, we cannot be taught the meaning of love, meaning we give meaning to everything, right? The meaning of love, because as long as we are learning, we are in a state of perception. And in this state, we cannot know what love really means, what love really is. We view it as something selective, and I think it's something that we have to choose, but we do in a way. But I think the next sentence is when we remove this, it does aim, however, removing the blocks to the awareness of love's present, which is your natural inheritance, and that's what this whole life is. That's what everybody share everything we experience, everything we feel. It's all an opportunity to see if if we don't feel the love, we don't extend the love, if I didn't let go of that meaning of the hand going down, which I did, I would still have that block to love that in my awareness, would have to choose love. I didn't have to really choose love. That's all I desired. It's all I felt. It's all, I don't know, it's a willingness. I don't know how to, words are ego too, because spirit does not need words. But in the world, words are not bad because they're ego, but they're valuable, but helpful, yet also the block to love. The love is already, it's a feeling, it's not a word. And it's when you, so I'll read the last thing, is nothing real can be threatened. Nothing unreal exists. Herein lies the peace of God. And that is huge word, peace. If love is all there is, then I think peace and love, or peace is just one aspect of love. So if you're not peaceful, you've left love. That's mine. What comes to me. But I'm grateful. I think I read the gratitude that I think it's something like the end of the struggle was the beginning of gratitude. But I think gratitude never ends. There's no struggle anymore. And I'm grateful for everything. Even the things that breaking my leg or the femur, almost dying. And I don't know why I experienced it. I have to experience it. I don't know. I did. I experienced it. So no judgment. I don't know if I had to or if it was helpful. It's not, Carla doesn't decide that. The true self of me, is it a decision? And it's gives me the opportunity for me to decide. Just like this hand raising up and down was an opportunity for me to choose love, to choose peace, which is our natural inheritance.
Yes. Thank you, Carla. Beautifully said. Miss Paula.
I'm kind of gonna piggyback on what Carla said, because when we started this book, the teaching, when I hear purification, it takes me back to my good old Catholic days, which I came into this world with the original sin, and I had to be baptized before my soul would turn white, and it was already black. So, but when I read this, we are created in God's image and likeness, and He poured everything into us, all that beautiful light, and that light, no matter how much we think we're separate from God, can never be distinguished. So when I'm in this world and I'm having questions about I'm not a body, because that just gets me. I'm not a body and all that crap. I think I'm separate from God. I can never be separate from God. That light is always there. When I don't know where I've been all this time, but when I read that, it's changed my life. And last night I was with my prayer partners, and we were talking about, well, something hurts and well, we're not a body. And I got out, and this morning I was thinking, I don't really believe that. I'm saying that so they'll be my prayer partner. I don't believe that I'm not a body. And then before my meditation, I said, Holy Spirit, please help me. I want to understand. And then you know what? The
the lesson today said, you may not understand this right now. So, I'm going to stop fighting myself. I'm fighting my mind. I'm willing, you know what I mean? I'm willing. And when I'm into my ego and I'm saying, okay, my kids are bodies, because then I love them bodies. I love Jesus's body. He's good looking. You know what I'm saying? That's why I watch The Chosen, baby. But I'm okay with that. I'm not going to beat myself up. I'm not going to judge myself, because Holy Spirit is talking to me if I'm willing to be quiet. And I just keep on keeping on. And that light can never go out in any of us. And everyone has that right. That has changed my life too, with all my children and my in-laws. I used to call them my outlaws. But they have that light too. What a relief. So that's all I got to say.
Oh, Paula, I love your outlook on life so much, because you exude that happy learner. Even when you think that you're not getting it, just the fact that you're not getting it and you're like, I just say it because I want them to be my prayer partners. That is so honest and authentic and so real. It's so awesome to get to witness that. And I don't know a single person who has not had a thought like that. Like, I don't believe this shit, but I'm saying it because everybody else thinks we should be believing it, And I can't tell you how many times I heard that in the course, and I've heard Jennifer say that I am not a body, but I have a body. That doesn't mean that I deny my body, just that it's not the end all and be all of what I am. And yeah, oh my gosh, the Catholic upbringing, toxic in so many ways. Go ahead, Nancy Gail.
I don't think I haven't shared this here, but the first cancer was, I did not have any. I right from the first, I told Jennifer, I called her up, I said, I'm healed. And I told you the story about the guy in the letter and all that. That was it. And then that was it. And I went through the whole thing, never complained, nothing, and it was just fine. Never had any trouble except for that one time, but that was it. But anyways, so then he's doing the thing, and then he says that he found these other 4 little spots of a different time, and he's totally said, what is the heck is this? This is, totally did not expect anything. So the original was gone. Now we have this other one. So they sent me to Ross, was it in Buffalo, for a second opinion, because of it would be different kind of treatment. And they, it's like, let's just make sure about this. So there's 3 doctors in there, the surgeons, I guess they were. Anyways, and then the research, the research, the surgeon, the elder surgeon, was a research surgeon. And they were discussing it, and got to the end, and I said, they were talking and all this and that, and their recommendation. And I said, there's faith healing, right? Oh, that's all so I get to go, starting to get up, and this research surgeon bends over and whispers in my ear. He says, I believe, now he's a research guy, I believe that cancer is an immune disease. And I thought for a minute, I'm standing like this, and I thought, oh, instantly I went to ego. What does the ego do? What does an immune system, what does the immune do? Protects something from a foreign enemy thing. Okay, so what is the ego do when I start to get the truth and learn the truth and believe the truth? That's the foreign enemy to the ego.
Yes.
Right? And all that stuff. And I said, and so I looked at him, I said, yeah, you're right. Seriously? Then I went up through the next one. And so the miracle is, I just heard what Carla was saying. She's saying miracles. This is all miracles. Everything she was watching us go from our old ego beliefs
Mhm.
to the truth. That's the miracle. That's it. You shift
Yeah.
from believing this or whatever you want to do. You think it doesn't mean it, but you don't have to believe it and act on that. You could just have the thought. You go over here and you're in the love zone. That's the miracle. And I heard it all. I heard it all so many times. That's what Carla was hearing.
Yes.
And it's like, it's beautiful.
Yeah.
I'm
It
done.
is
I'm done.
beautiful. Yeah. And your faith healing, it was exactly living in my defenselessness, my safety lies. So
Right. And the other thing, somebody asked
through.
me something about what was in the course, somewhere in the course, I remember that, wait a minute. It's like when they talk, medicine is magic, that whole section thing, whatever. It's like, and Jesus says the, you can do both.
Yes.
You know the truth, but at whatever level or stage of belief in that you can operate, if you're not quite there completely, you can do the medicine or whatever. You do
Yep.
both, and that's what I did.
Yes.
So, and I didn't judge myself. That's it. Because I had both those thoughts, and I said I knew the truth, and
Yes.
yet it's like I wasn't 100%, maybe 99, but I said, fine, go for it. Don't
Yeah.
even question it. Don't judge it. That's what I did.
Beautiful. Thank you, Nancy Gail.
Nancy Gail, it's good to see your hair.
I tell her that every time too. It's so cool.
This dark with like, it's all different colors. When I get it wet, it's curly. It's like, oh, never mind.
Okay. So the other miracle principles that spoke to me was number 13 was a big one. A miracle is a beginning and an ending. It thus abolishes time. It is always an affirmation of rebirth, which seems to go back, but really goes forward. It undoes the past in the present and thus releases the future. Yet there may still be one more thing, your fear of punishment for what is done now. Everybody makes mistakes. These errors are completely trivial when the past has been forgiven. These minor infractions are easily altered. I mean, seriously, just going back to the judgments that I had held against my parents and how I have allowed my opinions and judgments and hope that the past could have been any different or should have been any different than it was, allows me to see it as a miracle. Yeah. Go ahead, Carla.
Okay, I'll be real quick, but number 12 was, I'll read the whole thing, but miracles are the effects of thoughts. But I wanted to share with everyone, because I heard that thoughts come in our heart, but look, we're one with everyone. Now look, the ego, which is the separate self, makes those thoughts come in our mind and makes it look like it's our thought. Our thought. No, it's just thoughts. And so once we just let go of, we, I don't know, look deeper. Is that, so this is what I do. Is that a loving thought? Then that's the only thing that's true. If it's not a loving thought, I can just, and if it is a loving thought, it'll come back in a bit another way. Don't worry about it. Don't worry about there's nothing you can do wrong or bad. Nothing. And that's what I'm hearing from here repeatedly. Once we let go of the judgment that there's something wrong with us, we see, no, we've always been in the light all the whole time. Thank you.
Exactly. Kathy.
Seeing something in the footnotes and here and there where it talks about intellectualizing and the queen of intellectualizing. So what it's saying is when I intellectualize, it's different than the kind of thought that can support a miracle. And it even says intellectualizing is creating the physical. So and it's for protection, you know, so it's of the ego. So, you know, I'm just doing this. Yeah, it was my way of safety. And now I'm just learning and having the choice. And we said somewhere that when we choose a higher thought, then we will be having more miracles because we chose a higher thought. So as long as I'm in charge, and when I'm in charge, it's usually the intellectualizing. So you know, I get real busy and I say, you said this, I said that. What did it mean when you did this? What did it mean when I did that? And I have feelings and blah, blah, blah. So the issue is that it's like an act of courage and trust. And, you know, when it says in the very end that the everlasting arms of God, and that we need to walk through the day, all day, and remember that we are being supported, and maybe the other part was about love. The eternal God is thy refuge, and underneath are the everlasting arms. So it's kind of like you could see if you're choosing against intellectualizing, then I'm remembering the everlasting arms of God. And the last thing I want to mention is about it's sort of like trust, you know, trusting more and asking. So it says that you should remember the everlasting arms all through the day. You know, oh yeah, and the thought was the word personal, which I know we don't have time to talk about this, but personal, like, so it to me, all this makes it look like God is very personal to me. You know, it really feels that way and what it's describing. But my tendency is, out of protection or intellectualizing, is to make God impersonal or something. And I don't know why I've created that that's the way it is, but I'd love to hear anybody's comment on personal. Thank you.
I think of it, the impersonal God, just meaning that he loves us all exactly the same. There are no conditions. That's the impersonal. And that act of surrendering our ego thoughts, surrendering our intellectualizing, can feel like we're falling without a net, but the loving arms of God are always there to catch us. And that's why
Did the wind freeze?
She's frozen. She said to
Linda's
continue.
connection?
She
Yeah.
said to go on, so keep going or whatever.
So we're at the end. Does anyone have today's pathways of light? No, and not to cut you short, because that was great, Kathy, and we could talk about that for a minute.
We've got the pathways of light. We could just bring it up and read it. Yeah.
Well, and maybe at the beginning of next week, we can carry on talking about what you brought up, because it's really interesting.
Yeah, write it down so we can, yeah.
I can read. Does everybody want me to read the pathways of light?
Yeah, perfect.
What is
Yes.
the lesson today? Tell me. 8 or 9? Lesson 9?
9.
Okay, here we go. I see nothing as it is now. When I go to a movie and sit down and watch the story unfold, someone next to me may say to me, quote, "The events you are seeing on the screen are not really happening now. The movie was made several years ago, and you are just viewing it now." While in the middle of watching the movie, it appears as if the story is not over. It appears as if the scene being enacted in that moment is really happening right now. I'm learning through the course that my life experiences are like watching a movie that was over long ago. The course speaks of my, quote, tiny tick of time, of the tiny tick of time in which the Son of God forgot to laugh at such a foolish ideas. When I watch a movie, I often get very wrapped up in the story and laugh or cry at the events that seem to be happening at the moment. I'm learning to look at my life experiences in the same way. The course is telling me that what I am seeing is not there now. It is over. That tiny tick of time is over. We are all in heaven now. The Son of God is one. The millions of bodies that seem to dance on the stage of separation are seen clearly now for the nothingness that it always was. Reminding myself often, I see nothing as it is now. I will help to jog my mind out of taking this movie of separation so seriously. I need this help because it does appear that this moment in the dream is happening now, just like when I watch the movies. As I practice again and again, stepping back and taking what appears to be happening now to the Holy Spirit, I am shown what will help me in the moment. I came from love. I am love now, and love is all that could ever be real. A world of separation, a world of differences in bodies, a world of time, a space, is a movie that is over. It was always just a movie of separation that could never be real. I can relax now. I can let my mind be healed of all my delusions of separation, minute by minute, day by day. I can forget and make the world real again and again, but it means nothing. No one has ever lost their innocence. Separation from God, from love, could never be. I'm grateful that this is so. As I was doing today's exercise, I was struck by the fact that even to do the exercise, I had to rely on my past learning. In order to name the object that I do not see as it is now, I look to my past learning to give it a label. It shows me how the past permeates all my thinking through the day. In the process of waking up, I do not need to try to totally erase my past learning. I do need to learn that all my thoughts from the past are not here and are therefore not real. It is only my belief that the thoughts from the past are true that engenders fear, loss, guilt, and all the other myriad emotions of the ego. As long as I still seem to be seeing through the body's eyes, there will still be memories of the past, my past learning coming up to give meaning to what I think I am seeing. What is important is that I give these meanings to the moment. I give these meanings in the moment to the Holy Spirit and ask for his reinterpretation. It is this moment by moment practice that will free me from the investment of reality in what is not here. From my investment in reality in what is not here. It is this process that provides the means to escape from the past I have held on to in my mind. My job is to develop the moment by moment practice of recognizing thoughts from the past, turning them over to the Holy Spirit, and receiving the blessing of his perception. From this comes peace and joy eternal. It will bring me to the gate of heaven, where I will have wholly forgiven myself and all the world. It is important that I have great compassion for myself and my brothers as I began to recognize the